Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Skin Podcast. If you are a new listener, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're returning, I want to thank you so much for coming back. This is a very special episode because I am joined by my two sisters, which is kind of like scary and intimidating for me, but I'm very excited to have them on. We're going to also be talking about a very, very conversational topic as well, which is regarding the weight loss surgery, the different types of weight loss surgery. I have my sister here, Cecilia, but I call her Ceci, who's actually had the surgery several years back, and we're going to talk about her experience with it. And then I also have my sister here, Malanita, but people call her Maggie for short, and she's going to be also joining us asking questions about the surgery. So I'm going to let them talk a little bit about themselves and also talk about which surgery she exactly got done. So we'll start with Ceci.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Ceci. I had what is called the Roux-en-Y, which is the more major gastric bypass surgery. And I got that done 13 years ago.
That's crazy. I remember, how old was I? How old were we, Malanita, when Ceci got it done?
Well, it was 2010.
I was 10 years old.
So you were 10. I was like 13. 12
Yeah,
or 13.
I still have memories of when you got the surgery, and we come and visit you, and you were like, not bedridden, but you were on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, because she couldn't go up the stairs. She couldn't go up the stairs. So I remember she had like a 2-story house
Yeah.
at the apartments.
oh,
right?
so that's why you were on
recovery.
the couch?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she couldn't go up and down the stairs.
How
Remember?
was that, like not going up and down the stairs?
Well, luckily I had Michelle, my partner, to help me, but it's because also it wasn't just a gastric bypass surgery, but I also had to have my gallbladder removed. So
At the same time?
At the same time.
Oh, yeah. I remember when the doctor came out. The doctor came out and told us, and I remember seeing Mom and Michelle crying.
What?
They were crying because they were like so sad. They're like, what? Mija has to get her gallbladder removed too? And Mom was all sad. Like she felt like, I don't know. She just felt super sad.
Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know like the seriousness that goes into getting that removed. But it's like,
And
Well,
I
it's a-
remember Michelle crying.
It's a part of you. I mean, it's an organ.
because Mom got hers removed.
Yeah, but she got hers removed like at a very young age though. Like probably like in her 20s. For like no reason at all.
No reason. At
Yeah. Yeah. Remember she got surgery done like Tijuana, no? Wasn't it Tijuana?
Mexicali.
Mexicali. Okay, yeah. In Mexicali. And Mom always says, a mí me quitaron, how do you say gallbladder? Vesícula. Me quitaron la vesícula nomás porque sí. Or like, what do you mean?
Wait, so was she doing another surgery too at the same time?
No, she went because she was sick, and it was kind of like just, oh, let me open her up and see what
Yeah.
might be wrong.
Yes.
How old was Mom then?
In her 20s.
In her 20s.
Probably like my age.
26.
Probably a little younger. Yeah,
Younger.
she's probably young. She's probably your age, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Imagine me getting my gallbladder out right now at 23.
Well, a lot of people now, it's actually more common because of the food.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I remember that happening when Ceci got her surgery and her gallbladder removed too at the same time.
Yeah, went from an hour and a half surgery to like 4 hours.
No
Damn.
way.
Yeah, because I had gallstones, really big gallstones. I remember he said they were like golf size. He couldn't believe it that I still had my gallbladder.
And that's not normal to have them golf sized.
No, because it's extremely painful. But
the
remember,
hell?
I was always sick.
I'm asking questions. Literally, not everyone knows about this stuff just like me, so I could ask questions.
Yeah. So no, it's not. And this literally, I would get sick when it would flare up, and it felt like my back was splitting open. So
Oh no.
yeah, it's very painful.
Ew, just thinking about it gives me the chills. So, tell them how old you are, and then Malika, I want you to tell them how old you are and do like a little intro.
Oh, I'm 45.
Okay.
Why did you say okay?
But why are you laughing though?
Okay, go ahead.
Fuck. Okay.
Don't
so
curse as much.
so my family, they call me Madenita, but you know, like friends and coworkers and whatever, they call me Maggie because no one can pronounce my full name, Magdalena, and I was never happy with that name, but I guess I was just named after my mom. And Malenita was given to me in family, and then Maggie was just, for short, because a lot of people can't say Magdalena.
To give a visual, this is a sister you see on my stories all the time, and she's always angry.
I'm not always angry, though.
Then why are you always in a bad mood on my video?
Because I don't like being in your videos, especially when I'm like, I don't have makeup done, or like I just don't like being in your videos.
Okay.
That's why.
Because you force her on your videos.
Yes.
I don't force you. Sometimes you want to do it.
No.
Okay.
You just force me on your videos.
You catch her when she has no makeup.
Yeah, like I've never.
Which is every day, so.
I'm never really ready for anything unless I have to get ready.
Not everybody likes to wear makeup every day.
Yeah, I'm not
it
like
gets
you.
tiring.
It's exhausting, yeah, and it's bad. Not only bad for your skin, but also you use more makeup, and you have to buy more makeup more often.
Okay, that's valid.
Anyways, I'm 26 years old. I don't know.
Okay, well, at 26, could you picture yourself getting like the gallbladder removed or weight loss surgery like Ceci?
If I can picture myself, I don't know. Maybe. It depends.
Why would you need to get it removed though?
The gallbladder?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to get it removed. Every person's different.
What does it depend on?
It depends on what shape your gallbladder is in, and if you have like gallbladder stones and stuff like that.
It's very painful. Basically, it stops working properly because of the food, the fried food, the really fatty food. It's what helps break that down.
Yeah,
and then
so you better stop eating.
And maybe you don't say that on the podcast.
And then it causes pain.
I'm not gonna stop eating. Don't tell them what I had for breakfast.
I'm gonna tell them.
No.
For breakfast, you literally asked for.
What time?
It was like 10:58 a.m.
Is that even considered breakfast?
It's like brunch.
No, it's breakfast.
That's disgusting. Well, if you guys want to know what she had for breakfast, she had asada fries and 2 tacos de lengua with an horchata. It's disgusting. At 11 in the morning.
Oh God, it was so good.
Ugh. Mom calls it asqueroso fry.
Okay, well, anyways, let's talk about the weight loss surgery, because I feel like a lot of people, if you are plus size, maybe go into it, read about it, seen other creators that have gone through it, or maybe considered doing it. And here I have someone with me who actually has got it done. If you want to share with them, if you don't have to, if you want to share with them like your max weight, the lowest you got, and like the experience, if you thought it was worth it.
Okay. Let's see. I was 397 pounds when I got the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I lost 175 pounds, which is like a whole person and a half, probably. And that took about, I think, within 6-8 months, maybe.
That's crazy.
I lost the weight. The first month, I lost 30 pounds, which is always, the bigger you are, the more fat, like, you lose quickly because it's excess fat. And then it kind of starts balancing itself out. But of course, you have to like relearn everything, relearn how to eat, relearn how to take care of yourself. And so my lowest was 200 pounds, 5'4". So I was still considered heavy, but for me, it was, literally huge weight off of, off my body. Like literally, it was, I felt
basically
light.
you were like 200 pounds lighter, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I ate right. I worked out. I did all of that. Like, so I was able to keep the weight off for 10 years, which is average, but I didn't do the proper steps to help maintain the weight. In regards to the emotional and psychological part of why I got that big, so if you don't do that part as well, I think that's why eventually it comes back to haunt you all over again.
Yeah, like the downfall or whatever.
Mhm.
Which we'll get to, but like in terms of like actually leading up to the surgery, were there like specific steps that you had to do that maybe you had even a hard time doing? Because I know sometimes doctors like require you to lose weight even
Yes.
without, or when you're going to get it done. So like what was it that you had to do in order to get the surgery?
So when I got it done back in 2010, I'm still fairly new. It was happening, but it was still like, you know, barely starting to really kick off.
It
I
wasn't
think.
as researched as it is now.
Yeah.
in
So,
practice.
but it was a whole process. There was classes. You had to go see a nutritionist. They would teach you, you know, about like what they wanted you to eat, how they wanted you to eat, calorie deficient, you know, food. Like I think it was like 1,200 calories, no more than 1,200 calories a day to prepare you for the surgery. I did have to lose weight um, in order to get to like the surgery point because of my BMI and because how heavy I was.
Yeah.
So the bigger you are, the more risk it is still for the surgery, like in the actual, you know, operation. So,
And what were the risks that the doctor said that could happen?
well, I mean, you can bleed to death. You can die on the table. You know, the anesthesia, obviously, because when you're heavy, your organs are basically getting smashed, you know, because of all the fat. So the heavier you are, especially like if you're like, all your weight is on your belly, you know, they literally have to go in through more fat and deeper, you know.
So it matters like where your weight is proportion. I didn't even think about that.
Well, if you're top heavy, obviously if you have like big heavy breasts, breast tissue is fat, right? So the bigger you are, the more fat you have on your chest. So obviously the breathing is an issue. Like even when I came out of anesthesia, right? When I had a hard time catching my breath and getting my breathing and waking up. So I had to stay a little longer because, you know, like my heart rate was too slow. So they had to make sure that, you know, my breathing was
You weren't
right.
dying.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, but preparation wise, I mean, I was able to do it. There's also tons of vitamins you have to take because you're gonna be deficient in the nutrients and vitamins because of the lack of food you're gonna be eating.
Yeah, especially if like before you do the surgery, like if you already are deficient. Like right now, I'm deficient in pretty much everything.
You?
Yeah.
Like what?
vitamins. Like when I get my blood work done, I'm deficient.
That's because you don't eat the proper food. But I mean, believe it or not, I wasn't deficient in vitamins because I always ate a lot of veggies and
Yeah.
you know, fruits and stuff. I've always liked that more than like meat. So, but after, you know, you're only eating 1,200 calories and it's very limited of what you can eat. So you become deficient.
Yeah. So going into the surgery, like you said, it's supposed to be like what, an hour and a half, and it turned into a 4-hour surgery. Was there anything that happened that you didn't expect apart from the gallbladder? Is there anything that happened that you didn't expect?
No, just that. I mean, I didn't real. Obviously, I'm asleep. I didn't realize that was happening until after the fact. And then, you know, my heart rate not speeding up or being really slow, my breathing. But besides that, no, everything was pretty much, they explained everything really well.
Is there something that you wish you knew then that you know now?
Well, no, not really, because they, like I said, it was a whole process that they want you to learn what you're going to expect. Like we had this binder with tons of information and literally they called it like your Bible. Like you had to like always read through it, you know, learn from it. There was a lot of, you know, information to keep yourself like and knowledgeable of what you were doing. I the only thing was I wish I would have did the sleeve, which is less invasive.
Really?
But because of my BMI and because of my weight, because I was so heavy, they basically said, oh well, you're better off doing the Roux Y, which is they cut your big intestine, and then they move your little intestine directly to your stomach to bypass. That's why it's called a bypass, because it's bypassing the big intestine, so it goes through your body quicker. But I still kind of wish I would have had the opportunity to try the sleeve first, and then, and see if that would have worked that way instead of doing the whole, like,
Did they
change.
did they even leave that for you as an option? Like, let you choose?
They do. There might be more options now. I'm not really, I know there's more options out there now, the way they do the surgeries, because you're talking about 13 years ago. So obviously it's so much advancement, but they still recommend, depending on your weight and how heavy you are, because of the issues that can come with you being so heavy. Luckily, I never had like diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol. I never had that. But the whole thing was, if you continue this path within a year or two, you could be there. So that's why they suggested the Roux Y, which is the more evasive one, to prevent from having diabetes or anything like that. Because it does, for some reason, I don't know why, it does. If you're diabetic, it like literally helps your diabetes go away.
Wow. Like, instantly?
Well,
Takes time.
it takes time with the weight loss and the change, but I know people that have had it that were diabetic, and their sugar levels and they're really good. They don't no longer have to suffer with that.
How prepared were you, would you say, like, for like the actual like dietary like change and like lifestyle that was like required post surgery? Like, do you feel like you were actually physically, mentally prepared for that huge change?
I was prepared, like, as much as you can get in regards to preparation, but they did warn us in regards to emotional and mental, how it can affect you, like the dramatic change in your diet and what you can eat. You're used to eating whatever you want, right? And the amount, I mean, it's not good for you, but you can eat, a substantial amount because of your stomach. So you go from a size stomach like a football, to an egg. So the amount.
Is that how it was for you?
Yes.
That's crazy.
So the amount of food you could fit into that is extremely limited, right? The stomach stretches, and so you are able to, with time, eat a little more, but still at the beginning, but probably within the first 2 weeks or a week and a half, I had like this emotional crisis. Like, I was just like crying and like, I don't know if I can do this type of situation,
After you got it done.
After I got done. I don't know if I can do this. And I remember clearly like being in bed crying to Michelle, like, I don't know, maybe I made a mistake. But it's just because it's such a huge emotional change, It's because food is your go-to when you're emotional for a lot of people, right? For especially
us that work plus size.
Yes, a lot of us use that as I feel good because of what it makes us feel, right? When we eat something we like, or you no longer have that glut. So it's a very,
like a clutch.
Yeah, it's very emotional when you're only being able to eat a smoothie or like food that's like baby food, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't want to compare this at all, but like when I got my wisdom teeth out, like two weeks ago, like I felt very frustrated
Because you couldn't eat.
because I couldn't eat.
Yeah,
And I was so fucking tired.
You were also a little bitch too.
cranky. Well, because
and then
it's
I resorted to just sleeping all day because I was so frustrated.
yeah. Well, you got to think about it. It's like it's an addiction, right? So you're eating all this food and whatever, and then all of a sudden you can't do it. So you go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
You know, there's withdrawals from sugar, you know, from the food that you're addicted to.
Were you going through withdrawal when you were crying?
Probably. I mean, when you think about it, you probably are going through withdrawals. You know, you can't eat sugar because at that point, if you eat sugar, you literally can make you very sick.
When did you get the cupcake tattooed on you? Before or after the surgery?
Oh, it was way after the surgery.
That was kind of like, you just skipped a whole like portion of Ceci's life with that question.
It's a cupcake and a
I didn't
lipstick.
know what it represented.
Because she likes cupcakes. Like, cupcakes are like her favorite thing. And she likes lipsticks.
I think
If I could get any food tattooed on myself, what would it be? You guys tell me.
Fucking asala fries, probably.
No, ew, no.
a hamburger,
No.
a chicken sandwich,
Chick-fil-A.
That's valid.
a chicken sandwich.
Like a little
Hamburger.
a little pasta bowl.
Fucking Olive Garden on there.
Ew.
Oh god, it's so gross.
Olive Garden is gross.
It's microwave food.
Yeah, it's all frozen pasta. Anyways.
Was there like any financial aspects to the surgery? Like, was it more expensive or like insurance coverage?
Well, my insurance covered it because they've made obesity a disease, so
Yeah.
it covers it. In regards of any financial expense, well, there's the vitamins that's could be like $100 a month additional. Because you do have to take a lot of vitamins at first. I think as time goes by, you find like vitamins that can that are better quality, that you don't have to take so many of. You start learning different types of vitamins to help. But at first, it's so many vitamins. It makes you nauseous.
Luckily, you didn't have like any financial burden or like stress because obviously you had like the support system. Like you had mom, and then you had like Michelle, your partner. So you would suggest whoever gets the surgery done to make sure they have like an actual
support is very important.
Because imagine if someone goes through this like all alone.
Yeah, support it was extremely important and a big factor in my success, because it's not just support, but also that's why they have groups as well for bariatric surgeries, and you're supposed to go to them. And
Did they make it a requirement for you? They should have. I feel like,
they did make a requirement prior to the surgery,
but not after.
but not after. Well, no, because they can't. I mean, you got it done, but they do
should.
highly encourage it, and I would encourage it as well, because only people that have gone through the surgery and through the changes in the body, all the changes that your body does during it, know. You know, the doctors obviously know because of they see, you know, the process, they see the effects, they see all that, right? The science part. But the actual like human experience, only somebody else that has got it done.
Can understand.
Yes.
See, that's crazy.
And can help. But definitely having the support and and somebody there to help you stay accountable for what you're doing, and reminding you of why you did it, it's extremely, extremely important in your success.
Would you say when you were like 390 pounds versus you said 200, people treated you differently?
Oh, definitely.
Then how, like, get into specifics how they treated you differently? Or maybe how they even looked at you?
Oh, definitely. It was a huge difference. Huge. I didn't really focus on that, really, because even at my biggest at that point, I was always still very confident in myself, and I didn't really pay attention to stuff like that. But I did notice the difference in the way people treated me, or the way they looked at me, or the way they saw me, or you know, they just give you more attention, you know, like positive attention. But that wasn't really important to me. The most important thing for me was just the way I felt.
Yeah.
the way I felt about myself and the way I felt health wise, just the energy and
yeah. But it was obvious that when you're like significantly smaller, people treat you better.
yes, definitely.
So after like the surgery happened, like I know you touched on it a little bit. Was there any like bad like emotional or like psychological challenges that like arise like actually long term?
Well, there's the whole like your body changes. The bigger you are, the faster you lose weight. Then you lose your elasticity. Your skin, the loose skin, that could really mess you up psychologically.
Did you have that?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I don't remember you having that.
Well, I mean, I did, and I try to hide it. You know, like in regards to like using Spanx and stuff like that. At first, I did it all the time. Now I just like that's just too much work, you know. But definitely the loose skin. I'm very bottom heavy, so my legs, you know, I had a lot of extra skin. You know, clothing, things get caught in it, and it could be painful. You can get rashes, and the only way to fix that is by surgery.
Another one.
Yeah. So unless you have the means for it, or also insurance can cover it, but it's not like they're going to cover for like a nice, like, you know, one of those body lifts or whatever. Like it's just, they're just going to cut off the extra skin and they don't care.
Like what if it looks aesthetically nice?
Yes. Yeah. And one of the things I would say that affected me the most was losing that tightness in my breast. You know, that's one thing that really, I would say I was very like felt good about was my breast. And then after the weight loss, I felt I lost that. And I hate the way I hate the way it looks.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot with, you know, buying bras to hold them up. So, you know, that's something long-term wise, that's something even more than just having to take vitamins for the rest of my life. But that's one thing that I hate, that I would say for me was a 100% like regret just for that.
Just because your breast, because it's like the one thing that makes you feel like sexy and good, and then it just changes.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And it just makes it more painful because they're so heavy. And
makes your back
hang and it digs into your shoulder. I was heavy, but my breasts were really big, right? But they were like firm. They were up there. There wasn't that much of a struggle. You know, you just get bras, and it you know, they were a lot more firmer. And with the weight loss, they sagged.
Would you get surgery now for it?
I would, but I would have to lose weight first, because, you know, it's just always healthier and better if you have to be healthy when you get surgery. So being that I gained almost all my weight back, but my body's different than it was 13 years ago.
So when you were at like your heaviest, and then you obviously lost all that weight, like you said that you weighed, the amount you lost was like almost the amount of like a singular person. Did you do something when you're at your lowest weight that you couldn't have done when you were at your highest weight, that you looked forward to doing, and then you did it and you're like,
yeah, well, I mean, one was buying smaller clothes that I hadn't done since I was like in probably junior high, you know. And but
so small things.
Yeah, small things. Jogging, you know, like being able to walk long distance, you know, miles, go hiking or go on trails without losing my breath. You know, just as small things. I mean, even parking in a parking lot, like, you know, Costco, and just walking into it, and just not being out of breath or being, you know, hurting. Just having that energy.
What were you gonna say?
I was talking about when she was saying when she was parking at Costco. Like, even I get out of breath when I go to Costco because it's so fucking packed in there.
You went to Costco this morning.
Yeah, I went with mom.
Were you out of breath?
Not really. There was not a lot of people there.
But you were out of breath because, like, you feel like you can't breathe.
Yeah,
because of
there's
the
too
amount
many
of people.
Because you're panicking.
No, not panicking. I was just like, there's just too many people.
On God, you
Yeah.
panic. When we're in public, you panic sometimes.
Like suffocate, like you feel like you're suffocating. But me, it's like I literally can't catch my breath, like because of the walk, the from the car from the parking lot to the store. The heavy breathing because I'm trying to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Like not feeling that way,
It's a good
that's
feeling.
yes.
Can mom catch her breath? at
Did
Costco?
mom catch her breath? Mom
Yeah.
was fine.
Mom has more energy than we
she
do.
loves
Yeah,
going
she
to
does.
Costco.
Mhm.
She has more.
Mom has more energy than three of us combined. I feel
Literally, dude, when she's at home, she's always in pain. But when she's out and about at Costco, she's fine. Like, she can freaking hop on one leg. It's crazy.
It's because while you're active, you're not really focused on it. But as soon as you stop and you get home, it's like then you feel the
Yeah.
effects of it.
Like, she's fine when she's out, but when she's at home, no, she's a whole different person. She's mom again. But yeah. Well, I mean, like, weight loss surgery is becoming more normal now, though, especially since we have Ozempic and stuff. Like,
What's Ozempic?
what's Ozempic? It's like, so it's like that shot people give each other. Well, first it was originally for like diabetics and people who had heart problems that needed to lose weight, and they started to develop that
Can
drug.
I ask how long it took them to create Ozempic? Because I'm sure
I don't
people
know.
are like very quick to take that, but
It's
they
super-
were like tripping over the COVID shot.
I remember reading about Ozempic before it even got like famous. Like, Ozempic was literally only used for people that had diabetes. That's literally why it was.
Because it lowers your sugar levels.
Yeah.
Right?
So it helps you like regulate your A1C. It helps regulate like your sugar levels. It helps you like reduce your appetite. But people started abusing the drug so they could, reduce their appetite and not eat and lose weight.
Oh, so it's been around for a while.
It's been around for a while, yes. But then like celebrities started to use that, and that was basically like their little secret. And there was like other alternatives of Ozempic, like Mongiorno and whatchamacallit, well, Ozempic is semaglutide. It's just like the generic brand, and it's just like so like overly used now, and people are starting to do that.
And people are actually starting to overdose and get sick off of it because they're not following what
The dosages, uh-huh.
because they think, oh, if I double my dosage, I
Yeah.
won't be hungry or I'll lose weight. So, I mean, there's no quick fix to losing weight. There isn't. It takes a lot of determination and commitment. Even with the weight loss surgery, there's always like this. I don't know. It's always been controversial and or taboo or whatever. People, didn't want to talk about it, or people like to say it's taking the easy way out or the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
But there really isn't nothing easy about it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment, and
I feel like it's more
lifelong.
harder than actually working out and going to the gym.
I mean, it's just either
It's like mental and physical strain.
Yeah, it is. It is, and you have to be very disciplined to maintain the diet and maintain the lifestyle, because it has to be a lifestyle change, or you do fall back into your old habits, or like I said, if you don't take care of the reason why you went to food as a clutch or as to make you feel better, if you don't take care of that, then eventually it will come back. I think for me was I was doing really well, and then the damage was already done because how heavy I was, like most of my life, having arthritis, and it really started hurting after working out so much, and I had to really slow down. And so I was in a lot of pain in my hip and my knees, so I wasn't working out as much, which was depressing. And other stuff that came up in my life from when I was a child. So I really went into a depression, and I just fell back into my old, bad habits, unhealthy habits.
Everything you worked hard for.
Everything I worked hard for. So then it's a vicious cycle, because then you're mad at yourself, or you makes you even more depressed, and makes you like hate yourself, or be like, why are you doing this to yourself? You know what you have to do, but it is not easy.
Yeah.
So the weight loss surgery is a tool. The one thing I could really, really stress about is it works. And if you use it and you take advantage of it, and you use it how it's supposed to be used, and you really change your lifestyle and take care of yourself physically and mentally, it's a absolutely great tool to help you.
And you're actually following the rules by the book.
Yeah. And then you start learning what works, and what, so you don't really have to be so strict, because you start learning, you can start adapting and stuff. That's why I say about creating a healthy lifestyle. So it's just taking care of yourself.
And you don't have to say how much you weigh now, but how much of that weight that you lost you gained back?
Almost all of it. Almost all of it. So that's why I said, like, it's a known fact that after the first 10 years, people do tend to gain their weight back, because you get comfortable, or things happen in life. But for me, it wasn't just getting comfortable. It was more of other stuff that came up, depression and stuff like that, that just made me fall back. And it's something that I live with every single day in my head, about, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to get healthier. I got to get back into my program, because they have this thing where you can reset your pouch, because that's what it's called now. It's not called a stomach anymore, because it's so small. It's a pouch where if you start from the beginning, you're supposed to be able to reset it. But you have to be there mentally and emotionally too, ready to commit.
Would you recommend that before someone gets the surgery, they actually take care of their emotional side of eating first before actually getting the surgery done?
I would recommend that, to be honest to yourself, and yes, start taking care of that and learning why you're where you're at. But also, I also do believe that losing weight, like seeing the progress, is also helps you, motivates you, makes you feel good and motivates you. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand. You can't just depend on one thing. It goes, start learning, start getting the work done, the emotional work, the mental work done. But also, if you're going to do the surgery, then, you could do it while you're doing both, because losing the weight helps you too. It's that one thing that makes you feel good. Like, okay, I'm doing it. I see the progress. To me, it was like a big energy booster. It was a big mental booster.
I remember too that not only did you get like the surgery done, like you said, as a tool, but you had this huge phase of like going to the gym and like the ins and out of like eating healthy and what works. So you having like both the experience of like being kind of like a gym junkie and then having this weight loss surgery, what would you say is more harder, actually going through the weight loss surgery or committing to the gym and going every single day? What would you say is more hard?
I would say committing to the gym. Well, see, the gym is only part of it. The eating, the healthy eating, the learning how to eat. So you have to reprogram your relationship with food. It's about, it's not about like, I want a hamburger, it's so good, blah blah blah. It's more like, okay, what am I going to eat? Is this going to be healthy for me? Am I eating just to eat, or am I eating because I need it? So it's just reprogramming yourself and relearning our relationship with food, because when we're growing up, we don't get taught that. when, and especially in the Mexican culture, it's completely different.
We eat what we want.
It's just food is everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Food is everything.
So it brings us together.
Exactly. So we have to learn how to be able to be in the situations and also be disciplined enough to just eat a little bit, not overindulge. Not everything. It's just, having a healthy relationship with food. Just like you have to have a healthy relationship with anything. Mm-hmm. Excess is never good, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of one thing is never good. Mm-hmm. Even a lot of working out. I went from working out, every single day, then to 5 days, and then to 3 days. Once you get a good routine, you don't have to go hardcore 7 days a week or 5 days a week. You can do 30 minutes every day. Because it's healthy, like a healthy stress reliever or, a good state for your state of mind. But when I first started, I went from going like 2 hours a day, it was just like hyper focused on just losing the weight, losing calories. So it took time to figure out what worked.
And when people do that, I feel like they just set themselves up for failure. They're just like so focused on losing the weight.
Yeah, you burn yourself out.
Yeah. And you don't really know what you're doing after that. Like, oh, I just want to lose weight. So then they go to the gym and then they work out and then they just kind of set too high of an expectation and then they just, they burn out, like you said.
Yeah, so I feel it took... When I first got it, like, there wasn't all these videos, like, accessibility or, like, Instagram and all these, like, people, about losing weight or workouts and, like, all these stuff, right, that you can see. Then I started, like, really, like, seeing all these pages. I'm learning from them and learning different workouts or really reading into food and, just trying to educate myself, be more knowledgeable on what works. Everybody's body is different, so what works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah. Would you redo anything over again or do anything different?
In regards to the surgery, the only thing I wish I would have did it when I was younger. Like for me, I wish I wouldn't have waited until my 30s to do it. I wish I would have did it younger. So if I was 25 now, with the technology and the advancements and different options, I would totally 100% do it.
Really?
Yes. I would totally do it. There's so much information out there now that can help you. But also, I would still do all the homework. I would still do the work. And it's, it's being dedicated. And
I see why, though. I see why you would do it. But if, like...
So you're saying that she should try other methods before? She should have tried, like, let's say if, like, Ozempic was, like, bigger back then. She could have tried Ozempic instead.
Well, I'm not talking about, like, Ceci specifically, but just in general. Like, if we're gonna, like... Okay, let's say if I were gonna do the weight loss surgery, and then after I get it done, I have to be mindful about what I eat and going to the gym. Like, why not just do that without having the weight loss surgery?
Well, you got to understand, too. So, there's a lot of people, including myself, that even with workout and changing the diet, it was very difficult to lose the weight. Mm-hmm. I did, I don't know if people remember Jenny Craig. I did the Weight Watchers when it first came out. My whole life was literally about dieting. Mm-hmm. So it comes to a point where now you see yourself in this like drastic situation, so that's why. But I also feel that the weight loss surgery it could be used as a preventative. Like if you struggle with your weight and you tried working out and you try to change your diet, but you're still really struggling, it's a good tool, especially if you do it right, if you do your homework, if you're committed, and if you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
If you know what you're getting into and you did your research, I'm not against it. I'd rather do that, honestly, than like do like the shot that everybody's doing.
Really?
The medication. Because
Yeah.
I'm like so scared of medication.
People look hella crazy when they're on it. Like they look like they're crackheads. Like,
Who's on it that you seen?
well, like just like celebrities. Like you see like Sharon Osbourne. She was on it and she came on like this talk show. I forgot what talk show, but she looked when she was on it and she literally looked like she aged like 20 years because of her face.
She regrets. She said she regretted using it.
And she says she regrets using it. She said she was literally
well, you know,
nauseous
she did
every
a
day.
weight loss surgery too.
Yeah, so I'm assuming she probably did Ozempic because she was realizing she was gaining all the weight back, and she was just trying to keep it off. But she looked really crazy. Like her face just looks.
She changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been really open about her weight struggles, and then her daughter too. She did the weight loss surgery. I can't remember her daughter's name.
And then there's like a bunch of side effects too that medicine has. Like you can get like tumors in your thyroid. You can get like, your organs can start to fail.
Well, your intestines, you start getting. They say it's very common. You get stones in your intestines, which could I imagine could be extremely painful, and a lot of people get like really bad diarrhea, and it could really inflame your intestines. It could really your bowel movement and stuff.
You can get like acid reflux. You can get gastritis because you can't even eat a lot of the things anymore. It's just crazy all these side effects medicines have.
I'm not against the shot or the surgery, but I just feel like I feel like what needs to be taken care of first is like our minds, our brains, our bodies, and like actually seek therapy and like help with like our eating. Just make sure you're doing whatever you can first on your end before making such like a drastic decision. That's how I see it.
Well, yeah, that's only
Valid.
part of it, though.
Valid.
That's all I can say. Of course, because
They don't jump just to do it without trying.
you have to know what's triggering your overeating.
So would you say, sis, that you actually tried before you got your surgery done? Be honest.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I tried and failed a lot of times.
I think a lot of people try. A lot of people, they try before they decide to do something like that.
I had already like
I could sit here and say I haven't tried.
I had already.
Yeah, you have.
What are you talking about?
You've tried losing weight by yourself before.
When?
Like, remember when you were having like your anxiety attacks and stuff like
but
that?
I wasn't doing that to lose weight. I was doing that to like
Tried being
not
healthier.
feel like I'm dying every day.
Okay, but that helped you lose weight though. Remember?
Yeah,
you
but
lost
I
like.
wasn't doing that with the intention of losing weight.
And remember, you were going to the gym with Ceci and Michelle, and then one day you were at the house and you just started fucking crying out of nowhere, and you were like, and we were like, "What's wrong with you?" And you were like, "Cause I only lost 25 pounds."
Tripping, dude, you're literally tripping. That's never happened.
Yes. Why would I make that up?
Maybe you just don't recall.
Yeah, you're probably too busy crying. You don't
Okay,
remember.
you're talking about a way different like time frame than I'm talking about. You're talking about when I was like I was in freshman, sophomore year of high school. That's what you're talking about.
Probably, yeah. And you lost a lot of weight.
And you're talking about my anxiety. That was more recent.
Okay, but you've had anxiety your whole life.
Yeah, but like that really, really bad.
But
era of
that,
my
and I
anxiety.
remember you like had like you had a bunch of like papers on the cabinets of all the foods you can and cannot eat, and you took up the whole kitchen, and I was like, what is this? Yes, Espi, we lived in an apartment. The kitchen was really small,
You're
so you
so
took up the whole
stupid.
kitchen.
No, I
And,
didn't.
and then you had like a list of what not to eat and what
that was
can't,
because
what
of my
to
anxiety,
eat.
though. I remember
Yeah,
that.
and I remember you were like super strict on your diet, and that helped you lose a lot of weight. You
Yeah.
lost like 25, 30 pounds.
No, yeah, I remember I cut out sugars completely and caffeine.
It
and
was
everything.
so like strict to the
Very
point.
restrictive.
It was like lentils
Because I felt like I was dying every day.
because of your anxiety.
No, yeah, because I felt like I was going to pass out and actually never wake up again. I wasn't doing that with the intention of losing weight.
But
you were just trying to cut out triggers.
yes,
right?
you have to explain that to like your
I
listeners.
till this day feel like
that you were just trying to cut out exactly what Ceci said. Triggers, like food that can trigger your anxiety, which is proven that
Which I still-
sugar,
and caffeine.
caffeine, fried foods can trigger your anxiety and your depression very badly.
No, yeah, and I feel like till this day I kind of still do that, but at a certain extent. But I
Yeah,
eat
that's
fried
why
foods.
that's why she likes to get 7-Up no sugar, and they taste like shit. And she's so like,
I don't know why you just don't do
It's so
the
fucking
the
good.
sparkling water.
so fucking nasty.
7-Up zero sugar is so good.
Zero sugar. Like if you're gonna drink soda, might as well drink the good kind of soda.
Just get the soda water. Just do the sparkling water, and add lime in it, or lemon.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna be just completely honest. If someone were to tell me I'm doing the weight loss surgery, I would tell them not to do it
Why?
because I just feel like I've seen like your experience with it, and I just feel I wouldn't want someone to go through that.
Well, I don't feel like I had a bad experience with it. I learned a lot about myself, my
'Cause you
body.
told me you think about it every day.
I
and
think
you get
probably-
sad.
I think about it is because
And I don't want someone else to go through that.
I do think about it all the time, but because now I know how I can feel. Now I know that, okay, so I saw the difference between being heavy and then losing the weight and feeling, the health wise, the way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just talking about like how I physically feel about, oh, I thought I looked good, whatever. No, that was never important to me.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was feeling good and not feeling with, barely can walk and the aches and the pains and the out of breath, stuff like that.
I think it probably even saved your life, because if
Yeah.
you were still like that heavy and you were like to this, you probably wouldn't even have like made it past 45. You could have had like a heart attack or something.
Exactly. And that's what the doctors told me is like, if you continue this route, your blood work's good now, but you have to think about the damage that this weight is doing to you and what can happen, if you don't change things now. So yeah, for 10 years of my life, I would say I was healthier and I lost the weight, and that probably helped me and it probably saved my life, because the route I was going and how quickly I was gaining the weight, I can't even imagine where I would be at now.
Yeah.
So now I've learned enough to know the difference in my body. I learned enough to be like, okay, things have to change, especially now that I've gained my weight back and the way I'm feeling and everything. I know what I have to do. I know how to start. I know where to start, because I am more knowledgeable now than I was then. I mean, if I could, if I was, like I said, I would do it all over again. And if I could,
Would you redo the surgery right now?
yeah, they have
No way.
they have something that's called gosh, I can't think of the name. It just went out of my head.
To like redo the surgery?
Yes. Basically, they go in because they say most people within 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I'm at 13 years now. So, revision, that's what it's called. It's called a revision. They can go in, and if your stomach's grown and stuff, they can basically make it smaller again.
Is the recovery like the same and everything?
Oh, yeah, the recovery is the same.
Dang.
But like I said, I didn't have a normal bypass surgery because I had to get something else done. So it wouldn't be like a 6-week recovery or anything like that. It would be something else. But they won't do it unless I try to what it's called, the reset pouch. What I was talking about earlier, starting all over from the beginning. Like that's something that I really have to commit myself to. Trying first and seeing if that works before I would even attempt to go that far into doing the surgery all over again.
You knowing me, would you suggest I do the surgery?
No, I don't think so.
How about you, sis?
No, I can say a lot more, but I say no.
Say it. No, I'm kidding. Don't say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna put you on the spot like that.
Okay. Before we end though, do y'all think like my stance is ignorant or like uninformed? Because I say that like
No.
I wouldn't recommend. Like for me, my viewpoint on it, like I wouldn't want people to do that like straight on, like without focusing on other things.
No, it's not ignorant.
I don't think it's really ignorant. I wouldn't say it's ignorant, but I don't think you can. Like I said, everybody's situation, everybody's body, everybody's health is different.
Yeah.
So your stance on it is you wouldn't recommend it because you're speaking for yourself, right?
Well, yeah, you're right.
and
I'm
because
thinking it from my point of view, and my perspective of my body.
And because you have experienced it through me.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw my changes, you saw everything. So, but there's a lot of people out there that I've watched throughout the years that have gotten it, that have been extremely successful with the surgery, that have been able to maintain it, have been healthy, have been, that's why I say everybody's body is different. Everybody's situation is different. I know people that have gotten super sick after, super sick that they can't eat for months.
Lost their teeth.
Yeah, because they don't take their vitamins.
They don't take care. Yeah.
They don't take care of themselves. They want to.
See, those are the risk and like the complications.
Yes,
that I feel
You
like.
can lose your hair. You lose your
Well,
teeth.
actually, and I didn't touch on that, but because I've lost weight so quickly, I did lose a lot of nutrients and vitamins, and I did lose like a third of my hair. I don't know if you guys remember.
I remember.
I had like no hair practically, and
Your hair now is still not compared to when you were
no,
younger.
it's nothing compared to it. Nothing. I mean, where I had to get extensions and stuff because I felt so insecure
You had
about it.
extensions?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't
Yeah.
remember you had extensions.
Yeah, I
You
used
hid
to
it from
wear
us.
them to make my hair look fuller. My hair was always long.
Now I need
but
that myself
yeah.
without the surgery, so I don't think it matters.
But a lot of people, if you do not take your vitamins, anybody who does a surgery better maintain their vitamins because you will lose your teeth. You will lose your hair.
That's fucking crazy.
There's
Losing your
people
teeth.
that can end up on wheelchairs.
You lose your teeth and you don't even do crack.
Yeah, so it is really important that going into it, you are very committed.
What before we end, what's like one last piece of advice you would give those that are considering it?
Just do your homework and be prepared. Be prepared because it takes a lot of planning. Your day, your meals, what you're gonna eat. It's basically like meal prepping for
The rest of your life.
yeah.
That's crazy.
You because at the beginning you could only drink fluids,
And eat certain
smoothies.
foods.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing for me is that I'd rather live life eating.
I
what
couldn't
I want.
eat eggs for the longest time. I could not digest it at all. There's certain foods that your stomach will not tolerate. A lot of people can't eat meat. I mean, that was an issue for me because I don't eat meat, but I know that it's very hard to digest. And you got to learn how to chew your food. Chew it up to, you got to count 30 times when you're chewing your food to break it down so you don't make yourself sick when you try to process it or digest your food.
Do you know how to chew your food, Malita?
I think we already have that problem when you're eating.
Do you know how to chew your food?
I mean, think about it.
You tell me.
Think about how quick
Do you know how to chew your food?
from the moment you eat your food, you put it right in your mouth. Like, pay attention. Like, how much you actually chew down your food.
I probably only chew like 10
I've
times.
seen that people like count their chews because they have to like count their chews like because they just swallow their food. I think I just swallow my food. I don't really chew it.
Yeah, think about it. Like, we're supposed to chew our food really well. in
You're
order
right.
to
I'm
break
actually
it
thinking
down.
about that right now. You probably just do swallow your food.
I'm like lazy.
You're like,
Yeah. And then she just drinks her drink and then she washes that down and then she goes there again.
Well, and then that's the thing. You're not supposed to also drink while you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to wait at least 20 minutes after your meal. At least 20 minutes after your meal. Because then you're just washing it down.
Yeah.
Alrighty, everyone. Just before you get or think of getting the surgery, just make sure that you are chewing or know how to chew your food correctly.
Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Not just that, espi. Do your homework. Not
I know.
just make sure
I'm trying to end on a positive note. Like I'm
Yes,
trying to be funny.
chew your food so you don't throw it back up.
Or maybe you should start exercising and eating better, and then maybe you'll lose weight.
Yeah.
So you don't gotta do some crazy change like that.
Yeah, well, I hope that this was extremely helpful for anyone listening, whether you consider it or know someone that like is considering it. Send them this episode to give some insight from someone that has been at a max weight, lost the weight, gained it, had this surgery, personal experiences. I feel like they're always helpful to learn and hear firsthand from someone else. I want to thank you so much for listening, and thank you to my sisters, Ceci and Malanita, for joining me today.
Thank you for having
Okay,
us.
bye.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.